Maine has plenty of places we would call tourist attractions, even though most of us who live here like to visit them too.
Yeah, Old Orchard Beach, Acadia National Park, Fun Town, to name a few. Then there is the desert of Maine, a place many Mainers have likely never visited. 207's Don Kerrigan is here with that somewhat surprising story. Hey, Don.
Hey there. I just had to go, right? So the desert of Maine, of course, is in Freeport, and it's close to a lot of other places people might want to go, and it is unusual. All reasons why the desert has been attracting visitors for 100 years. And yes, it really is sand. I've heard about the desert of Maine my whole life, but I've never been here, so decided it was time to find out what this place is all about and really why it's here.
Because this place goes way back. Visitors learn some of that at the start, and that includes videographer Scout Fishman.
The desert of Maine isn't a true desert. It's a deposit of glacial sand that became activated through topsoil erosion.
And it all just begs to be explored.
Look at that. Sand everywhere.
We got the full story from Mila Jones. She told us that in the 1800s, the Tuttle family began farming sheep here, but they grazed too close and the thin soil couldn't take it.
Just like in the Dust Bowl, the topsoil starts to dry up, blow away.
Which it did.
And by the early 1900s, there's about this amount exposed. By 1940, there are 100 acres.
Mila learned all of this because about 5.5 years ago, she and her partner decided to buy the desert of Maine.
I didn't even really know what a rich history there was here when we decided to buy it. I think there was something inside of me that told me, hey, this place is really special.
She says lots of research has proved that feeling to be right. It told her about the farm and about the unique, very fine glacial sand deposit that became the desert, and about this place becoming an early tourist attraction.
It's 100 years old. It was called the Desert of Maine, so people traveling from New York and Boston would want to come see it. It's not a real desert, but it was back then spectacular. It was 5 times larger than it is now.
In more recent decades, the desert had declined, and to some it became an oddity. One reason, perhaps, that lots of Mainers never visited.
I've heard that so many times. And I do think there was a period of time where this place was marketed as like the largest ball of twine kind of place. And that's just not what it is now.
Now the desert of Maine has a whole new look. Kids still run across the sand, but then they can play miniature golf on a well-tended layout. They can climb around in the playground, grab an ice cream. Parents can get gifts or directions in the new visitor center. They can even ride the train that takes them on trails around the desert to other kid-friendly spots.
So am I right that basically whatever where we're sitting now didn't exist?
Did not exist. Mini golf did not exist. Campground looked like a campground, an RV park from the 1980s.
No more. The campground now has elegant rental cabins, and they're putting up spacious rental tents and domes.
You've made some significant investments here.
Significant investments, yes.
They've invested in history, too, like digging down 30 feet into the sand to reveal the site of the old spring house, and moving an old farmhouse to this spot to remind visitors of what used to be here.
So you've done a lot in 5.5 years.
Yeah, and we are not done yet.
And people have noticed.
We hear there's miniature golf and ice cream.
Anna Ginn and her husband came from Freeport with their grandkids.
And you said you never came here?
I never came here, but I think you have.
Yeah, but it used to be very different.
Investment, work, and passion have brought a desert makeover. And so has nature. Mila says over the years, the trees have been taking the desert back. Once 100 acres of sand, now about 25. Still, she says, those acres are unlike any others around here.
I think it's really pretty breathtaking. It's spectacular. It's to see the sand in the middle of the forest.
And after a century, she hopes there may be new generations eager to enjoy the desert of Maine.
You know, and the sand part, I have to say, really is fascinating. I mean, where else in Maine are you going to go and climb up a sand dune after all? But fascinating to see, find out how it all came to be. And Mila Jones has a new project in mind. She's created a nonprofit calling it the Center for Arts and Ecology, and is going to bring the arts to the desert of Maine. They're going to rebuild the old barn many people remember, have performances, other arts things there. All more reasons to visit.
They are investing a lot of money in it.
Tremendous amount. I wouldn't say, but clearly a lot of money.
All right. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.